You and I as the Israelites, have to war within yourselves and against your own fleshly lust. You have to war with worldly temptation, with all the spiritual energy you can muster. War for the kingdom of Yah.
We aim and shoot scriptural bullets at demon troops. I'm just spitting truth. Look at yourself if it's staying in you. Release yourself when the lies and the doctrine you clinging to. Repenting mean the path that you walk and you see it through. That mean you gotta switch up your people leaving the crew. That mean you gotta watch what you say and watch what you do. But until you see the truth.
All right, Shalom Israel, what's going on? First, I want to start off by giving all praise to the Most High Yah, the name of His Son Yahweh Shai. And the title of today's lesson is, what is love? So, Valentine's Day was just passed yesterday. So I know some of y'all sisters was probably itching and burning up that y'all couldn't, the ones that's new in the truth at least might have been feeling some kind of way, burning up that they couldn't celebrate Valentine's Day. Feel like your husband don't love you or feel like don't nobody love you because, they didn't get you flowers or chocolate or whatever. And but we go see what love is according to the Bible. Get the book of 1 John chapter 4, verse 7 and 8.
This is the book of 1 John chapter 4, verse 7. Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God, and everyone that loveth is born of God and knoweth God. He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love.
You see that? So, according to this scripture, the Most High is love. We was in the Christian church, they'll just leave it right there and say God is love and God love everybody. So, we ain't gonna go that route today. So we just go a little further into this. Get 2 John 1, 5 and 6.
This is the book of 2 John chapter 1, verse 5. And now I beseech thee, lady, not as though I wrote a new commandment unto thee, but that which we had from the beginning, that we love one another.
You see that? So that was, you see how, a lot of Christians have tried to say that the Old Testament done away with too. But you see this John pulling something that's been from the very beginning, that we do what?
Love one another.
All right, keep going.
Verse 6. And this is love, that we walk after his commandments. This is the commandment, that as ye have heard from the beginning, ye should walk in it.
You see that? So we need to walk in his commandments. That's how we show that we love the Most High. That's how we show that we love each other, by keeping these commandments. Let me get Leviticus 19, 18 through 19, because we also got to see who are we supposed to be loving. Because like I said, the Christian church will run with these and say God love everybody, but we go see if that's what the Bible says. And we got to go back to the law because that's the beginning.
This is the book of Leviticus chapter 19, verse 18. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord.
You see that? So the Most High said, love thy neighbor as thyself. You might look at neighbor and be like, oh, that's the person next to you, or, it might be someone that live in your vicinity. But no, that's not the case. Let me get Ecclesiasticus 13, 14 through 18. We go get in a little bit of defining who this is.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 14, verse 18.
13, verse 14 through 18.
Okay, verse 13. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 14, verse 13. Salaki, chapter 14, verse 13. You say chapter 14 or 13? Salaki.
Chapter 13.
Salaki. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 13, verse 14. Love the Lord all thy life, and call upon him for thy salvation. Every beast loveth his like, and every man loveth his neighbor.
You see that? So every beast loveth his like, and every man loveth his neighbor. So that means animals go stick to one another. You don't. If you look at the animal planet, you don't ever see lions and zebras and hyenas all hanging out together. You see the lions together. You see a group of hyenas together. You see a group of antelope together. You know, you see everything hanging with their kind. Keep going.
Verse 16. All flesh consorteth according to kind, and a man will cleave to his like.
You see that? So you look at people. You know, that's what we're supposed to be with. We're supposed to be with other people, you know, according to the flesh. And of course, we got to look at it from a spiritual view. Be with like-minded people as well. Keep going.
Verse 17. What fellowship have the wolf with the lamb? So the sinner with the godly.
You see that? So just like a wolf ain't gonna be hanging out with lambs and vice versa, because the lamb just go end up getting ate up by the wolf. We shouldn't be hanging out with sinners like that. Keep going.
Verse 18. What agreement is there between the hyena and a dog? And what peace between the rich and the poor?
You see that? So if a hyena and a hyena hanging out with your little house dog, a hyena go eat your dog. I'm sorry. It don't work like that. Just like rich can't hang out with the poor because the rich gonna end up taking advantage of the poor. You see it all the time. Look at how all the poor white people that voted for Donald Trump and they ain't got nothing in return, but he got their vote. You know, just throwing it out there. Let me get Song of Solomon 5:1. Like I said, this proof that we should be hanging out with our fellow Israelites of like mind. That's who we should be putting a lot of our energy and our time into, you know, because we got to build this nation. So that's who we're supposed to love.
This is the book of Song of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 1. I am come into my garden, my sister, my spouse.
Hold on. Say that again. My sister.
My spouse.
You see that? So Solomon, you know, his spouse is someone of his own kin. He ain't putting his love out to these other nations. Marry a sister of his own blood, you know. Marry your fellow Israelites. Keep going.
I have gathered my myrrh with my spice. I have eaten my honeycomb with my honey. I have drunk my wine with my milk. Eat, O friends, drink. Yea, drink abundantly, O beloved.
You see that? So, you know, this was supposed to put your energy towards your own kin. You shouldn't be giving your love towards these other nations. Love your neighbor as yourself. That's who your neighbor is. That's who the Most High wants. That's who you're supposed to love. You're not supposed to extend your love to everybody. Let me get this first article. This one is titled Love and Money. How much does romance cost this Valentine's Day? According to the National Federations, consumer spending on Valentine's Day this year is projected to reach a record-breaking $29.1 billion. Surveyed shoppers said they plan on spending an average $199 on gifts, up from $188.81 last year. And on top of gifts, 26% of consumers plan on going out for a romantic date on Valentine's Day, polling company Ipsos says. But 24% plan on having a romantic night at home instead. And 31% said they weren't going to observe Valentine's Day at all. Long-term couples know that finances matter the other 364 days of the year. A study at Bankrate found that 38% of people in committed relationships completely combine their finances. 36% mix some of their money while keeping some separate. And 26% keep their financial accounts totally apart. You see that? So the United States spent $29.1 billion. We're going to do a little math right here. So we just go make a couple of assumptions. Let me go to the calculator. So we're gonna say 29.1 billion. And we gonna say what black people are 13%, Hispanic people are 19%. So we're gonna say that's 32%. And then Native Americans are 2%, I think. So 34%. So that's almost $10 billion every year. Now imagine if we love one another indeed, and instead of loving these pagan holidays and these so-called gestures of love, and we was able to save, put this $9.8 billion towards something, to build our nation. You do this, you put 9.8 billion, almost $10 billion, and use that to build up a community. We could probably build a city the size of Flint in 10 years. Like seriously. But we want to keep on celebrating holidays. But then look, don't throw Christmas in there. Put that in the financial part either. And you probably build New York in 15 years. But we want to keep celebrating these holidays, and we don't want to love one another. Actually love one another according to what the Bible say. Get this next scripture. Give me Ecclesiastes 25:1.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 25 and verse 1. In 3 things I was beautified and stood up beautiful, both before God and men: the unity of brethren, the love of his neighbors, a man and a wife that agreed together.
Oh man, that's some beautiful stuff right there. Can you imagine that? If all of us could be on the same page.
Agree together. You and your wife
on the same page. That make the devil scared.
Apostle Backbeat.
Yeah.
You and your wife agree together?
Man, look, that make the enemy scared right there. You have that strong black family, they scared of that. They scared of the community agreeing together. Man, they scared of us loving each other. They scared of neighbors loving one another. They scared of that. They go do everything they can to keep that from happening. Because like I said, we spent what we spent on these holidays for just 10 years. We can literally build a whole city. Not a small one either. We talking about hundreds of billions of dollars. They scared of that. Let me get Numbers 32, 24 through 26.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 32 and verse 24. Build ye cities for your little ones, and coats for your sheep, and do that which have proceeded out of your mouth.
You see that? This is when the children of Israel was wandering in the wilderness. They were trying to take possession of their land. You're supposed to build cities for the foals of your sheep and for your little ones and for your wife. That's what we're supposed to do. But like I said, we're not on the same page. We focus on, a lot of our sisters, they want the gestures that they can post on social media and stuff. They don't want the tangible stuff that might not necessarily look as good, but it's a step towards building. Building don't always look good. You can't always post it on social media. Keep going.
Verse 25. And the children of Gad and the children of Reuben spake unto Moses, saying, Thy servants will do as my Lord commandeth. Our little ones, our wives, our flocks, and all our cattle should be there in the cities of Gilead.
You see that? So they was trying to get a place, set up a place, to build a nation. You gotta, it start with your family. So you gotta be able to take care of your family. That's what love is. Like I said, love ain't a feeling, because the feeling come and go. You might feel like you in heaven one day with your spouse and then want to put your hands around her throat the next day. So love ain't just a feeling, it's a duty. It's something that you, Bishop talked about this yesterday. It's an obligation, something that you bound to. And you do it whether you want to or not. Some days you're not gonna feel like it. Let me get Ecclesiastes 2, 4 through 6.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 2, and verse 4. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate.
So Lucky, I said Ecclesiastes. Did I say Ecclesiastes? I meant Ecclesiastes.
Oh, Salaki. Maybe I probably heard you wrong.
Okay, that's cool.
Yep.
Yeah,
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 4.
2, chapter 2, verse 4.
Chapter 2, verse 4. I made me great works. I builded me houses. I planted me vineyards. I made me gardens and orchards, and I planted trees in them of all kind of fruits.
You see that? Solomon, he of course he was a king, so he can do a little more than what we can do. But the point is, he didn't depend on other people to feed him. He planted his own vineyard. He planted his own trees. And that's what we should be doing. To the best of our ability, we should be building our own, growing our own food as best we can. Keep going.
Verse 6. I made me pools of water, to water therewith the wood that bringeth forth trees.
You see that? So, this is be self-sufficient. That's the point. You need to be able to do that for your family. That's part of what love is, be able to provide land and resources to be able to take care of your family, especially as a man. Get 1 John 3 and 18.
This is the book of 1 John, chapter 3 and verse 18. My little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth.
You see that? So just because it don't look good all the time, just because he don't write you a poem every day, ladies, just because he don't show up with a bouquet of roses every day, that don't mean he don't love you. Say not in word, neither in tongue. Might not be the most elegant way of, he might not have the most elegant way of saying it or showing it, but if his actions say that he loves you, if he get up every day and try, that man probably love you to death.
Would say love. It's an action word.
Exactly. You can say it all you want to, but what you gonna do to prove it?
Yeah.
Let me get Ephesians 5:22 through 33.
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 22. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands, as unto the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the savior of the body.
You see that? You see how Christ is the head of the church, and we know what that came with. That came with great sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice. He died for everybody. He died for the congregation. So that they would be able to have be forgiven. So that's how much husband is supposed to love his wife. Keep going.
Verse 24. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything.
You see that? So just like the husband obligated to, pretty much lay down and die if need be for his wife and his family, the wife have to be able to, have to be in subject to her husband. Right there in the scripture, that made my words. Keep going.
Verse 25. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it, that he may sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word.
You see that? So ultimate sacrifice. Christ did what he had to do to give us a chance to make the kingdom. So the husband got to do the same thing for his wife. Do whatever he can within his power to make sure she's first of all, you need to make sure that try to get her to make the kingdom. It might not be an easy task, but put it out there. Keep going.
Verse 27. That he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish.
You see that? Because at the end of the day, your wife represents you. So if you want her to, however you want her to represent you, that's up to you. So it's best that you teach her best that you can. Keep going.
Verse 28. So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself.
See that? Because when you married, you become one flesh. So you gotta love your wife like you love yourself. And sisters, you gotta pay attention that some of these brothers don't love themselves, so there ain't no way he can love you. So keep that in mind as well. Keep going.
Verse 29. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourisheth and cherisheth it, even as the Lord the church.
Mm-hmm.
For we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bones. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall be joined unto his wife, and they two shall be one flesh.
See that? So that's what it is. You gotta be one flesh. So it's if you love your wife, you go teach her and try to be on one accord with her. You get the next scripture. Get Ecclesiastes 26, 1-3. They ain't gonna teach you that this what love is in the Christian church. They'll have you celebrating Valentine's Day right along with everybody else.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 26, verse 1. Blessed is the man that have a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be double.
You see that? So sisters, if you want your man to live long, if you don't want to stress him out and send him to an early grave, try being a virtuous wife. Keep going.
Verse 2. A virtuous woman rejoiceth her husband, and he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace.
Mm-hmm.
A good wife is a good portion, which shall be given in the portion of them that fear the Lord.
You see that? So if you fearing the Most High and keeping these commandments, you eventually go find you a good wife. Like I said, a good wife is a good portion. You see that? To him that fear the Lord. So if you ain't, you out here being wicked, you go find yourself a wicked wife. Let me get now give me verse 13-16.
Verse 13. The grace of a wife delighteth her husband, and her discretion will fat his bones.
See that? Keep going.
A silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord.
Read that part again.
Verse 4, Ecclesiasticus chapter 26, verse 14. A silent and loving wife is a gift of the Lord, and there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed.
You see that? So sisters, if you love your husband, you'll be silent and loving. And by silent, we mean not always trying to argue and nagging and being combative. See that? Keep going.
Verse 15. A shamefast and faithful woman is a double grace, and her continent mind cannot be valued.
You see that? You can't even put a price on this. It's worth more than gold. Keep going.
Verse 16. As the sun, when it ariseth in the high heaven, so is the beauty of a good wife in the ordering of her house.
You see that? So, sisters, y'all got a part to play in this love thing too. This is how you love your husband right here. You know, like I said, it be a good virtuous wife because it's gonna cause your man to live longer. It's gonna make him look, it's gonna make him look good in front of other men. And it's just you're a joy to be around when you behave this way. Let me get 1 Timothy 5:8.
This is the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 5, and verse 8. But if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he have denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. I can't hear y'all. You mute.
Must hit it on accident. But I would say, if you don't want to play your part in loving your wife, and if wives, y'all don't want to play y'all part in loving your husband and taking care of the kids and doing what your role is, it's just like denying the faith and being worse than being an infidel. I'm not making this up. Let me get Ecclesiastes 30, verse 1 through 3. Because like I said, it's this where the children part come into it, because you're supposed to love your children too. And it's a way you're supposed to do that as well.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 30, verse 1. He that loveth his son causeth him oft to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end. He that chastiseth his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance.
You see that? So, if you love your children, you go put that discipline in them, from when they're very young. You ain't just go let them run around doing what they want to do. Keep going.
Verse 3. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy.
Hold on, say that again.
Verse 3. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy.
You see that go back to that that go back to how single parent homes, without a father, single mother home, how your children are more likely to turn out in a negative manner. They're more likely to drop out of school, more likely to end up in prison, more likely to commit suicide, all kind of negative stuff. But when you have that father in there putting that discipline, putting his word into them, they turn out a lot better most of the time. That was it on 3.
Salaki. Now let me finish. Sorry. Verse 3 again. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him.
You see that? So like I said, let's think about how when you're I guess just something that's obvious. You ever seen like LeVar Ball, how he brag on his 3 sons being able to play basketball like that?
Yeah.
Because that made him proud. That's you gonna be, that's gonna give you that feeling. I'm sure he the coolest man in his family. Can't tell me that he ain't. You see how he carries himself. And and people hate him for it, but at the end of the day, that's because they the enemy. They grieving the enemy. Let's go grieve the enemy when you got, you raise your sons up right way and they turn out, they keeping these commandments, they building for their family, spreading this word. Let's go grieve the enemy, because they go know once we they know when brethren unify that it's gonna be a problem. Let me get Ephesians 6 and 1. Let me verses 1 through 4.
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 6 and verse 1. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with thee, and thou mayest live long on the earth.
You see that? So hold on. So you see that? So it ain't, this the Bible, it teach everybody how to love everybody. That's everybody that he's supposed to be loving anyway. So you see that? So children, they even got a role to play in this. Keep going.
Verse 4. And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonish of the Lord.
You see that? So you can't provoke your children to wrath, but children, you got to obey your parents. Honor your father and mother, I should say. And what do that mean? Let me get Ecclesiasticus chapter 3, verse 1, so we can see how you're supposed to honor your father and mother.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 3, verse 1. Hear me, your father, O children, and do thereafter, that ye may be safe. For the Lord hath given the father out over the children, and have confirmed the authority of the mother over the sons.
You see that? So it's set up order right here. You see, that's the order right here. You got Christ, you got the father, you got the mother, you got the children. Keep going.
Verse 3. Whoso honoreth his father maketh an atonement for his sins.
You see that? This is why they say so your days might be longer right here. This is breaking it down. Keep going.
Verse 4. And he that honoreth his mother is as one that layeth up treasure.
You see that? So you when you look after your father and mother, be obedient to what they saying, at least is according to this word, then you laying up blessings for yourself. Keep going.
Verse 5. Whoso honoreth his father shall have joy of his own children. And when he maketh his prayer, he shall be heard.
You see that? That's why that's why some people come out with terrible children, because they were terrible children. They ain't listening to nothing their parents said, so they just reaping what they sowed. But if you was a good child, you more likely go have a good child. Keep going.
Verse 6. He that honoreth his father shall have a long life.
Mm-hmm.
And he that is obedient unto the Lord shall be a comfort to his mother.
You know why why you a comfort to your mother? Because you ain't out here doing something where she worried about whether you gonna live or die tomorrow, live or die today when you leave the house. Because I got a couple cousins like that. I got one that's in prison right now, and his mama probably glad that he in there because she know ain't nobody go blow his head off while he running around. So you in this word keeping these commandments, mama ain't gonna be too worried about you. Keep going.
Verse 7. He that feareth the Lord will honor his father, and will do service unto his parents as to his masters.
You see that? Because that's setting up that rank. Just like you'll go to work and do well, do what them folks tell you to do. You wouldn't mind helping out your mother and father in their old age. Keep going.
Verse 8. Honor thy father and mother, both in word and deed, that a blessing may come upon thee from them.
You see that? So ain't this our second time hearing that word, and indeed?
And indeed.
So that means it come with an action. Keep going.
Verse 9. For the blessing of the father establisheth the houses of children, but the curse of the mother rooteth out foundations.
Oh man, so we know how that is. That we know how a father doing what he's supposed to do. How that's you gonna leave more than likely leave an inheritance of some sort of give life lessons that's gonna set your children up great. And then we know how wicked a mother can be, destroy all that. Keep going.
Verse 10. Glory not in the dishonor of thy father, for thy father's dishonor is no glory unto thee.
And it's sad that you see that a lot today you see people get on the internet, bash their father to the world. Don't even know the whole story, but bash their father to the world. And even if he was in the wrong, why is everybody business? You know, so we're not supposed to do that. It's right here in the Bible. Keep going.
Verse 11. For the glory of a man is from the honor of his father, and a mother in dishonor is a reproach to the children.
You see that? So y'all OnlyFans, all these OnlyFans women out here, that's a reproach to your children, because eventually that's gonna come back to bite them. You know, you dishonor yourself, you go dishonor them too. Keep going.
Verse 12. My son, help thy father in his age.
See, this is indeed right here. This is the indeed. Say it, read that again.
My son, help thy father in his age, and grieve him not as long as he liveth.
Don't throw your parents in a nursing home first chance you get, man. God, dog. Let them if you do as much as you can to make sure they comfortable in their old age, and they ain't got to worry too much. You know, I think most of us do pretty decent with that. You know, because that's why I said we have some of these laws in our spirit, and we don't even know why. But you know, you see a lot of the other nations, they quick to throw their parents in a nursing home and forget about them. Keep going.
Verse 13. And if his understanding fail, have patience with him, and despise him not. When thou art in thy full strength.
You see that? So if your father or your mother is not, you know, not well in their head at the end, you know, they might have a little dementia or Alzheimer's or something. You know, be patient with them. You know, don't be mad at them for it. Don't hate them for it. You know, be patient, because you know that's who raised you. Keep going.
Verse 14. For the relieving of thy father shall not be forgotten, and instead of sins it shall be added to build thee up.
Keep going.
In the day of thine affliction it shall be remembered. Thy sins also shall melt away as the ice in the fair warm weather. He that forsaketh his father is as a blasphemer, and he that angrieth his mother is cursed of God.
Oh man, you see that? So you don't forget about your father in his old age, and don't go around making your mama mad all the time. That's all I'm saying. You know, do right by your parents in their old age. That's how you love your parents indeed. Let me get Titus 2:1-5.
This is the book of Titus, chapter 2, verse 1. But speak thou the things which become sound doctrine, that the aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in charity, in patience.
Yep. See, you know, as an age man, these are the things you're supposed to do to show love to your community. Keep going.
Verse 3. The aged women, likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children.
You see that? So not only do we supposed to, you know, aged women, not only are they supposed to love their family and love their husband and love their children, but they supposed to teach other women, teach the younger women to do the same thing. You know, this part of loving your neighbor right here. Keep going.
Verse 5. To be discreet, chaste, keepers at home.
Man, do you think these women and taught the younger women to be discreet and chaste?
Keepers at home?
You see how they dress and how they run around the street. Keep going.
Good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of God be not blasphemed.
You see that? So that's the That's the duty of the aged women. That's how they supposed to show they love to each other and to the women coming up under them. Let me Galatians 5:22-23.
This is the book of Galatians, chapter 5, and verse 22. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such, there's no law.
You see that? When they say there's no law, you can do this however much you want to do it. It ain't nothing stopping you from doing it. So, this is how we're supposed to treat our brothers and sisters, especially the ones that's in this truth. Even the one that's not in the truth, we probably try to bring them in, but especially the ones in this truth. This is how we're supposed to treat them. Let me get 1 John 4:11-12.
This is the book of 1 John, chapter 4, verse 11. Beloved, if God so loved us, we ought also to love one another. No man have seen God at any time. If we love one another, God dwelleth in us, and his love is perfected in us.
You see that? So if we can't love one another, how can we possibly love the Most High? We ain't never even seen him. So we can't love one another and we see each other all the time, see each other every day. How can we possibly love the Most High? So that's how we show our love to the Most High. That's part of how we show our love to the Most High is by first loving one another, because we right here with each other. Let me get 1 John 5:2-3.
This is the book of 1 John, chapter 5, and verse 2. By this we know that we love the children of God, when we love God and keep his commandments. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous.
You see that? So when we love the Most High and keep his commandments, that's how we show that. That's how we show that we love him, by keeping his commandments, and that's how we show that we love each other, by keeping his commandments and by loving God. Right there in the Bible. Can't make it up. It come full circle, don't it?
Full circle.
And let me get this last scripture. Let me get 1 John 4:20-21.
This is the book of 1 John, chapter 4, verse 20. If a man say, I love God, hate of his brother, he is a liar.
Hold on. Read that again.
Verse 20. If any man, Salaki, if a man say, I love God, and hate of his brother, he is a liar.
You see that? So we went through all these scriptures on how to love your brother and how to, so you know how to do it now. So, you ain't got no excuse. Keep going.
For he that loveth not his brother, whom he have seen, how can he love God, whom he have not seen?
Like I say, you see him every day and you hate him sometimes, but how can you possibly love the Most High who he ain't never seen? Keep going.
Verse 21. And this commandment have we from him, that he loveth God, Salaki, that he who loveth God, loveth his brother also.
You see that? You can't have one without having the other. You see that? So that concludes the lesson. Love one another, not in word only, or not in gesture, but love in deed. Shalom.
Shalom.
You and I as the Israelites, have to war within yourselves and against your own fleshly lusts. You have to war with worldly temptation. With all the spiritual energy you can muster, war for the kingdom of Yah.
We aim and shoot scriptural bullets at demon troops. I'm just spitting truth. Look at yourself if it's staying in you. Release yourself when the lies in the doctrine you clinging to. Repenting mean the path that you walking, you see it through. That mean you gotta switch up your people, leaving the crew. That mean you gotta watch what you say and watch what you do. But until you see the truth.